Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you can finally open your mouths. Don't worry about spoiling anything for demand, because history is about to be made here tonight. As of 7:04 p.m. Well, this has been live for about a minute and a half. So 7:03 p.m. The Club of the Man, 1993. After after 4 shows, 5 years, because the first time they did this show, there was not a what's it called? There was not one in 2020, but for the first time ever on the channel of the man, we're getting a WWE Crown Jewel review. That's the first time I watched WWE's Crown Jewel. Or it used to be for me, Crown Jewel. Now it's Crown Jewel. It took place this past Saturday, November 5th, 2021, in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. I probably mispronounced it, but I apologize. I got to watch it last night, Sunday, with some friends. Had a good time. Overall, good show. There was a couple things that I was a little disappointed happened, but I was also for the most part, I'm kind of like, well, it might be because of this. I think some of my reasons why I was a little disappointed is because I'm not used to WWE doing some long-term storytelling, some long-term booking. Which may be why, there's some things someone thought that was going to happen during the OC and the Judgment Day match. I thought would happen there. It didn't happen here, but I'm thinking, you know what? If you want this to be longer term, why would they do this now? But we'll talk about that, of course, when we get to that. And a few other things. I'm a little mixed about, the Women's War Games match coming out of this show. But other than that, the matches, most of them delivered. There was only one that we'll get to saying it was my weakest match of the show. But it was not as bad as I thought. And of course, the main event, the fact he's so good, and it makes me hate him more that he's so good. But we will talk about that, of course, when we get to the main event of the evening. We're going to get rolling here, because I do want to watch Raw tonight. We're going to talk about WWE Crown Jewel 2022. And we've got Tyler joining us in the live chat as always. He did not review this Keep My Wear. I'm not sure what he means by that. He thought the show was okay, and his usual pledge to split the world and tag titles. I don't think it's going to be happening until WrestleMania at this point. But we're talking about, of course, some matches that they maybe, really only one that they could maybe be saving for WrestleMania. I don't know. But we will have to wait and see. But let's roll in and get started and talk about this. We open up the show. I thought it would be the tag titles. I thought it would be one of the tag matches. I always feel like, when in doubt, open with a tag title match. I still feel like that's the best way to do hot crowds. Nope. We opened up with probably the match I was looking forward to the most on this show. Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. I'm sorry. Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. Now, knowing that I haven't watched too many overseas shows and too many of the Saudi Arabia shows, I didn't realize Brock Lesnar was super over in Saudi Arabia. Because they were cheering the crap out of Brock and booing the hell out of Bobby Lashley. Because a lot of people are wondering if that ending led to a heel turn for Bobby Lashley. We'll talk about that in a second. But as far as the match goes, definitely, here's the thing. Better than the Royal Rumble match? Bobby dominated most of the match. I know at the beginning, he went after Lesnar and took out his one knee. And he definitely worked on the knee of Lesnar, which I don't know that. Here's my thing. I will say, because I'm kind of getting a little ahead of here, but Bobby felt like the heel in this match. I do agree, but because at first when they first started this, and when Lesnar came back and beat down Lashley, I thought first that was a full on heel turn for Lesnar, but Lesnar still acknowledges the crowd. Lashley still acknowledges the crowd. I think it's just more so like a face on face match, but they do some heelish elements in it. Like depending on where they're at, whoever's more over, one's got to be a de facto heel. And for now, I will say Lashley felt like the de facto heel, because we want to see Bobby Lashley get a big win over Brock. I still felt, of course, with how the bill was, I'm like, this doesn't feel like it's going to be it. I felt like there was going to be more to this feud. And quite in fact, the feud will continue. But the match itself was good. I enjoyed it. I'll never get over Bobby Lashley spearing Brock Lesnar through a barricade. Or even when he picked him up, did that massive choke slam thing that he does or whatnot. But Bobby dominated most of this match. But then the match ended. Lashley had Lesnar in a hurt lock. And then Lesnar kind of did a whole Bret Hart move, in that lucky roll up pin thing, which I was fine with that because my prediction was this goes to a draw. But then of course I thought about, you know what, especially if it feels like the feud has more mileage. Bobby Lashley already got, it wasn't a clean victory, got a victory over Brock at Royal Rumble earlier this year, so he technically does kind of have the upper hand. So, and again, I keep saying too, if you want to keep Brock around, fine. But I also keep saying that, Brock's got to put people over, but you got to keep Brock credible. So, I guess my prediction was this match would go to a draw. But giving him the sneaky victory over the dominating Lashley, I'm okay with that. I'm okay. I was okay with how they finished. Afterwards, though, Lashley was pissed because, he dominated Brock. He absolutely dominated Brock in this match, and he put Brock into a vicious-looking hurt lock that basically got Brock Lesnar get put in a lot of neck pain or whatnot. So, again, like I said, for now, I'm going to say that was kind of again, it just feels like whoever is more hotter in the city. I feel like they're both still baby faces. But obviously, the crowd was, pro Brock here, and they were booing Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley, just went with the audience and was the de facto heel. I don't think he's going full-fledged heel right now. Not right now, at least, I don't think. Could be different when we get to Raw tonight, but we'll see. But I feel like there's no true face or heel in this. Now, as far as when they'll fight again, they gotta do one more match. I have a feeling it'll probably be Survivor Series, because my thing is okay. Just like people are saying that they want to try to find, they should find a way to do Sheamus and Gunther for WrestleMania. Excellent, but again, how do you get that? How do you get there? What story do you tell to get there? Same with this. Okay, you look at the pay-per-views that are left. There's only, keep in mind, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, and Elimination Chamber. Which, of course, they're cutting back on pay-per-views and, of course, changing up the names. Thank God. That's only 3 pay-per-views. And 2 of them aren't really, singles match based. Well, Survivor Series really technically isn't quite either, but you're more likely to get, a non-title singles feud at Survivor Series, I feel like, right now. Because we're doing War Games this year. If it was brand versus brand supremacy, then, okay, yes, then I could definitely, but, you know what I mean. I think, there could be a way. I mean, I don't know, what if, Bobby beats down Brock really bad on Raw tonight and sends Brock packing, and then Brock doesn't come back until maybe Rumble to sub their match at Mania or something like that. You could maybe potentially, because of course Brock's not going to wrestle on Raw. He's definitely not going to. But you could some way, I feel like, since you have, because what? Are you going to have them waste a one-on-one match at Rumble? With no title on the line? No. Chamber? Unless they put them both inside the chamber, but I'd be afraid that Brock would actually win. If they put him inside the chamber. Well, I mean, at this point, if you put both of them in a chamber, I'm sure, they would both, cancel each other out some way. It's be interesting to do the chamber if Roman still has both titles at that point. But, there is a possibility they could get this to WrestleMania. It's possible. I feel, though, if you did that, and you would have to play off what Bobby did and have Bobby, beat down Lesnar so bad that he turns heel. Because why would you, beat down, a babyface? Why would a babyface beat down a heel so bad? I don't know. We'll see where it goes. I think they could get it to Mania, but we'll see how it happens. It's possible, though. If not, we'll probably get it at Survivor Series. So there's that match. The second match on the card was this women's tag title match. The champs, Alexa Bliss and Asuka, taking on former champs, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, Damage Control. This was a make it or break it moment, show for me with Damage Control. How do I feel coming out? 50-50. This match was fine. I mean, it was a solid tag match. Nikki Cross got involved and hit Alexa Bliss with the Fisherman's Neck Breaker, costing her the match and allowing Damage Control to regain the tag titles, which they should have never lost them in the first place. Why did we just have, we could have had, Alexa and Asuka return on Raw this past week. And they could have been returned, and, that could have just been, all they had to do to set up this random match for Crown Jewel. They didn't have to have Damage Control drop the tag titles. Because that didn't really help them at all, in my opinion. So, I'll give this match credit, it was solid. But, again, what was the point of them dropping the tag titles on Monday, then? I feel like they didn't have to drop the tag titles to just win them back here. And I guess this means Nikki Cross is going to be with Damage Control going to the Women's War Games match. I don't know. I mean, this kind of you made me think, okay, a little bit more, steam on Damage Control, but, I'm still... We'll talk about when we get to the Raw Women's Championship match. But, solid match, give it credit, but I don't, it still felt like a little bit of a waste of time. But it wasn't horrible. It wasn't my least favorite match. I said my second least favorite match of the night. Then this wasn't too bad either. We had Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross inside of a steel cage. Good steel cage match, I would say. Of course, the story here, of course, would be since, Scarlett interfered last time with the match, the steel cage was meant to keep her out. And I really like, the viciousness. Karrion Kross, I definitely feel like, this is definitely, I feel like, one of Kross's better, longer matches. Again, someone mentioned this the other day. He's like the newest Goldberg. Well, he was until he got screwed over when he lost to Jeff Hardy in a minute and a half last year. But that Karrion Kross doesn't even exist anymore. Like I said, in NXT, his best matches weren't his longer matches. I'd say his best longer match was probably when he won the title back off of Finn at Stand and Deliver. But he had that. He had a match with Johnny, I remember. His Fatal 5-Way was good. His match with Joe would have been better if they didn't suck the life out of that, because that's after he lost to Jeff Hardy. But definitely I feel like one of his better, longer matches, in my opinion. The finish of the match, though, was interesting. Of course. I think it was the best way to protect both people, but to also, kind of like Brock, you gotta throw Drew a bone at times too, to give him some victories. Because you were gonna have him lose, 3 pay-per-views in a row? Because he lost that, he lost at Clash at the Castle, even though I feel like that was a mistake. He lost at Extreme Rules, which, yes, Karrion Kross should have won that. This was the best way to protect Kross. The finish was, McIntyre did get sprayed in the eyes by Scarlett again while he was trying to escape the cage. And then Cross got him into the cross jacket after hitting him with that vicious elbow from behind that he does. But it wasn't enough to keep down McIntyre. Eventually, of course, McIntyre was able to break free, and he hit a very nice Claymore on Cross. And then Drew went to go to the door again. This time, though, Scarlett shut the door, and she locked it. Then Drew was like, no biggie. He starts climbing up the cage. Because there was a moment also towards the end where Cross was climbing out, and then Scarlett was trying to help him get out, but then they thought that McIntyre... No, I'm sorry. They thought McIntyre was out during the whole, spray in the face Cross jacket. Obviously, Cross did put him out, but Drew was able to come back alive. But before Cross could escape from the cage, before Cross could say, well, that's dumb because he didn't put him out completely. Then if he would have won the match because of my submission. But anyways, getting all caboodle right here. Anyways, so Cross went to crawl out, but then McIntyre pulled him in, went for like an ankle lock, and then he hit the Claymore, but then Scarlett locked him in. Because Scarlett also forgot, when she sprayed McIntyre, she also sprayed the referee standing outside guarding the door. So when Scarlett, of course, got the key and locked the door, Drew's like, no big deal. He climbs up, and as he's climbing up, Scarlett's unlocking the door again, trying to pull Cross out, and I like how this was shot. Cross was like an inch away from getting out when Drew was able to, jump off the climb down the cage, jump off it, and he snuck away with the sneaky victory. I like that. Again, that if there was any way to protect Karrion Kross in a loss, it was this way, and I'm totally okay with that. I guess one more match though. But what will we do? Because we've done Last Man Standing recently. We did it on this show with the women, and we did it at SummerSlam as well. Maybe Falls Count Anywhere or something, or I don't know, 3 Stages of Hell maybe. Like I don't know. That's right. I forgot to mention too. What match would you do also for Brock and Bobby in their third match? Some people are saying like MMA style fight, even though we've already done like the Fight Pit recently. What if they did a knockout match? I'd like that for that. Drew and Cross, though, I'm interested because we've done the strap match, which was fine. This is definitely a little better. Steel cage. I don't know. Let's do knockout for this. I'm feeling knockout match. Like with how personal some of these feuds have gotten. Knockout matches would be interesting to me. But good match. Good way to give Drew a win and protect Cross. Totally fine with it. So we got that. Then we got this match. The OC taking on Judgment Day. This match was good. But here's the thing. What I was looking for going into this match, and I don't know if it's now me thinking that they may have mentioned this too soon, or what if again, might mention it too soon maybe, or if it was me jumping ahead a little too far, because 2 weeks ago on Raw, we had AJ Styles. It was the week where Rhea Ripley body slammed Luke Gallows. And AJ Styles and them all agree that the big factor there is Rhea. Which, first off, also, Rhea Ripley came out with her hair, up as Beth Phoenix would. Just to, kind of fire a shot. So I'm guessing Beth Phoenix is the one who's going to come back and take out Rhea, basically. Be the one to neutralize her. I don't know, but my point though was the story here that I was under the impression of was the OC realized that the biggest problem is Rhea, but then they do nothing. I mean, the match was great. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad Judgment Day. I am kind of glad Judgment Day won because my thing, as I said earlier, I may not be used to just the whole long-term storytelling effect. Think about this. Before Dominic Mysterio joined Judgment Day, Judgment Day lost at Crown Jewel. They won at Crown Jewel. They lost at Clash of the Castle, and then they lost at SummerSlam also. So I was saying back then, like, you gotta start giving Judgment Day some wins here. Which they did, and they've been booked great. I mean, I'm still very glad that Finn Balor got the victory in the I Quit match. So them getting a victory here, I think I should have been a little more accepting of it first. I just thought it was strange that they would mention 2 weeks ago on Raw they realized the problem. The OC realized the problem, which is Rhea, but they did nothing about it. It was strange that they jumped that far ahead in the storytelling. So I don't know. It may be a while until we get someone basically neutralizing Rhea. At this point, you just gotta put the title on Rhea. The Raw Women's title should just go on Rhea. But of course, we'll talk about that in a second as well. So, good match. I was a little disappointed though that we didn't get. Like I said, I thought maybe we'd see Tegan Nox come back, or even Beth Phoenix, or Piper Niven could have been one to neutralize Rhea. Didn't get it here, but it's probably just they want to tell more of a story with Judgment Day. And again, I keep saying the four of them together now are great. It's a stable with a bunch of guys that we all know have a bond together, good chemistry together. And when they first, became a thing after they kicked Edge out, I'm like, okay, this is gonna become a jobbing squad again, huh? But nope. Now that they're killing it. So we'll see what we have, of course, next for them. But that was again interesting. That was again a good match. Like I said, that was just a very, very weird thing. All right, let's get this one out of the way with Braun Strowman and Omos. A lot of people thought this match was actually pretty good, and if you thought so, fine. I'm gonna say decent, in my opinion. It was better than I thought it would be. Why I think I like this match a little bit more than I thought I would at first. Because at first I mean this could be a big sleeper fest. I think the reason why I liked it a little bit better is I felt Omos showed a little more personality in it than he usually does. That's the thing why it was a little bit more better. Because I can also actually understand what he's saying. And it felt like a real fight. But it was still nothing special, and Braun Strowman does, pick up Omos, hits him with the running power slam, which I'm glad he's using that again, because for a while they were having him use, just a normal power bomb, and I'm like, okay, are you trying to literally just mock, the booking of Wardlow in AEW? So I keep him doing the running power slam. That's his thing. I also want to address, apparently Braun Strowman posted some tweet see, we got 47 5-stars ratings for our match. We're better than the flippy floppers or whatnot. Once again, he's firing shots at indie wrestlers. Why does he keep he's even before he left WWE, he he got released last year. He even still started posting some stuff like that, and it's why do you post stuff like that, Braun? I'm sorry, you don't have to. Braun is capable of putting on good matches. And I always say this. Braun Strowman being as booked as badly as he was, or made it look as bad as he was not his fault. Like I always say, I feel bad for the guy. Before he got released, he felt like he was booked too strong. But they wouldn't put the hat on him unless they needed him to wear the hat. When we wanted him to be on top, they couldn't pull the trigger. But the moment Roman, stepped away, they needed him. So I feel bad about that. But when you say stupid stuff like that on Twitter, it's dude, there's no excuse to really, go off like that. So I don't know. But yeah, this was my least favorite match of the night, but I'll at least say it was decent. It was better than I thought, but you're still not going to get me to buy an Omos t-shirt. I'm sorry, I'm not. Then we have this match. the undisputed tag title match between the Usos and the Brawling Brutes, Ridge Holland and Pete Dunne. I guess the Usos were feeling very Usy. Well, Sami Zayn was not over there because I think Sami Zayn was not over there because of religious beliefs. I heard. Same reason, of course, why MVP wasn't there in Omos's corner, and why they had that segment on SmackDown where MVP was beaten down by Strowman. I feel like this match is not getting as much love as it should. Like, a lot of people are saying this was kind of like the cool-down match. Hell no, this is no cool-down match. This is a really fun tag match. Like, again, another group that I've become more and more of a fan of is the Brawling Brutes. You know, I always, loved, Pete Dunne. I always was intrigued by Ridge Holland. But I don't know, ever since, again, Gunther and Sheamus' feud, not only did Gunther and Sheamus benefit from that, Holland and Dunne also did too. And Pete Dunne, my God, was the star of this match. He was wrestling like the Pete Dunne of of the UK days. He was on fire in this match. Caused a lot of pain, a lot of great near falls too. Like there were times I thought, the splashes. There was times again that I literally thought, the Usos were got them. But no, they hung in there. And Ridge Holland, they keep doing these things where he's picking up like both of their opponents and like taking them down at once, like having more power moves. It's like, keep doing that, please. Of course, I love the finish of the match. I think Ridge got knocked off the apron or something like that. I think Pete had shoved like Jay into Jimmy and they didn't see the tag. And they won with an avalanche. Like I think one like threw from the top rope, like tossed Dunn, from the top rope, and got a lot of height on him, and hit the 1D on him to get the victory. Like this was a fun match. This was a very fun, fast paced, lots of close near falls. Like people saying this was a cool down match. I think Strowman and Omos was the freaking cool down match. Even though, like, the match before that were, good, but not like, sparkling fire, I would say. But this was not, by any means, a cool-down match. This was a very great tag match, I thought. And now the Usos will take on the New Day this coming Friday on SmackDown as a way of New Day trying to protect their record from being broken. I think it's just about to be broken, I think. But, yes, this tag match, I feel, deserves a little more love than what we get it. So, of course, we will have to wait and see. So, we have that match, and then let's talk about this next match. Bianca Belair versus Bayley. Raw Women's Championship. Last woman standing. Whew. It's tough for me to decide which match was my match of the night. I could give it to the main event, but I still feel like the main event was a little bit predictable, even though it was still an awesome match. I think I'm giving it more here, even though the results of who won, I am a little still about. I mean, the results of the tag title match kind of like lifted my spirits a little bit. But I think the reason why I would give this one my match of the night, and actually before I even do that, let me check something here. On Twitter last night, for the first time in a while, I posted my polls of like, what was your grade for this, what was your match of the night. Let's see here. Only got 2 votes on for grade. 2 people gave it an A. That was it. For match of the night, there was 5 votes. Nobody did an other or write-in. 20% said Roman versus Logan. 20% said Last Woman Standing. 60% said Lesnar versus Lashley. Even though the results I wasn't 100% for, I think we give this match of the night, because I said recently that, you know, I felt like Bayley has not had some of her best matches, especially that non-title match her and Bianca had on Raw a couple weeks ago. That was shit. That was absolute crap. Well, I think it was more so just the concept, like the idea behind it, of like, you know, what it did. It was like the old philosophy of how you would get another title match, basically. These women, like, this was the first match I was sitting there thinking, if Bayley literally does win this match, I could believe her actually winning it. Because her and Bianca just went crazy in this match. You know, not just like, you know, slam after slam. You know, we had, what do we have here besides, like power bombs, like, you know, onto the ramp. We had, I can't remember if we went through a table. I know we had chair shots in there as well. But we had, like, Bianca Belair getting thrown into a road case, I think it was. And, like, Bayley, like, shut it. Like, why she didn't lock it, I don't know why. She tried to, like, hold it down with her hands, but she shouldn't have doubted, you know, the power of Bianca. And even there was a spot where I'm pretty sure this was a botch. But I'm like, man, if only that wasn't a botch. Like, you know, that was the actual finish. That would have been genius. Because when Bianca tried to get out of the road case, the case door shut on top of her hair. Like, she was trying to get out, but like part of her hair got stuck. Like, if they were gonna have Bayley win this, that would have been like a very like genius way. Like, you ever like said how many movies, or like an example, Toy Story 3, when the toys were trying to escape Sunnyside Daycare and they were just about out because they were seeing the garbage truck pull up, but then that one toy got their foot stuck in the dumpster door or whatnot. It was like that tiny little thing that just like turned everything around. I saw that, I'm like, if only that would have been the way how Bayley would have won. Like, that would have been like a very genius way to have Bayley win. But I'm sure it was a botch, but I still like that. But then you have Bayley also drive Bianca drive a go-kart, and like they tease the whole, you know, Elite and Sammy Guevara thing. Now, it's not as funny as Hangman Adam Page chasing Sammy Guevara on a freaking horse. I still crack up at that. Hangman Adam Page tried to run over Sammy Guevara with a freaking horse. But they teased that with Bayley. Like you want to talk about Bayley going psycho? She went crazy trying to win this match. And rightfully so, she should be as far as the story goes. Which I feel like is why I'm not quite as upset by the results, but I'm still... But anyway, so... Obviously, though, you know, Bianca got out of the way, so Bayley slowed down with the golf cart. But they brawled, you know, over the seats in the golf cart, and then Bianca put Bayley on top of the cart, drove her down the ramp. First, like, is she gonna crash to the car into a ramp or something like that and like knock Bayley off? Like, the match was that crazy. The crazy stunts they did in this match, like, you know, the stuff they're doing, literally just beating the piss out of each other. I thought they were gonna even go that far. I'm like, okay, we have Brock Lesnar lift up a freaking ring with a tractor. We could get Bianca just like ramming a golf cart into the ring and knocking Bayley off the roof and flying, and not launching her back into the ring. But instead, she just drove down and there was a table set up there. Now, this was a botch. This did not look good here. Bianca tried doing, I think, a KOD, or some type of a powerbomb move through the table, and Bayley completely missed the table and like kind of like hit like the back part of her neck. I think it was off the table. That looked a little scary. There was another spot I forgot to mention earlier when they were brawling on the ramp where Bianca, it looked like Bayley had fallen and like twisted her ankle or something, but it was a ruse because Bayley then like grabbed like part of like the gate and like opened it and like slammed it right into Bianca to get momentum. But then we get to the finish. Bayley I think we went to grab a steel chair. And I think she did get a few chair shots in on Bianca. But then she was trying to hit her Rose Plant finisher on Bianca, like with her bomb of her chin hitting off at the top of the chair. Instead, though, Bianca was able to reverse it and hit a KOD, and like right between Bayley landed like right between her legs on the top of the chair, which okay doesn't do anything to women, but you know it's still probably hitting like the quad or whatever that muscle is down there. I don't know. I don't know anybody who's good with anatomy anymore, so I have no clue what the body parts are. But anyways, after that, there was a ladder in the ring. This kind of felt like I say this because if Bayley was smart, I could see her coming back and giving her excuses like, how, I was unfair how she lost that match. So, Bianca, like, put Bayley in between the ladder and, like, crushed down the ladder, and she pushed it into the corner, making it look like Bayley was, like, sandwiched under the ladder. And then some people say Bayley could have, I still kind of agree that Bayley could have, like, crawled out. But it was still could have been tight by the feet, so it could have been tough for her to still, maybe get out of this. Her feet could have been stuck in the ladder. So basically, Bayley was sandwiched under the ladder, and that's how Bianca retained. Now, my thing is here's what I thought. Because, like I kept saying, this is a make it or break it show. Because I'm still not completely, 100% pleased with how they've booked Damage Control. Since, and because again, like, Bayley should have won in Extreme Rules. Them having, again, the only one I'm forgiving is still whenever, they didn't win the tag titles in the tag title tournament. Because they told the story where they pinned the wrong person. That protects them. Okay. But then when they lost the tag titles this past week on Raw, which was pointless. And then, of course, in singles matches, they've lost 2. I'm like, they're not really that big of threats. And I think back now at both these losses. Bianca did, win the ladder match, but she never pinned Bayley. You also had how Bianca sandwiched Bayley underneath the ladder. To me, I'm going to say this. I could see the people looking at that as like a Dave Batista finish. Whenever, back in 2010, whenever Batista lost in the last man standing match to Cena duct taped his ankles to the ring post. Duct tape! That's what how you pull off a win! Duct tape! And then it led him to get in that I Quit match. I get at this point, Bayley's lost twice. And quite frankly, yes, she should have won one of those matches. She should have won at Extreme Rules. Especially if you really want to Damage Control to dominate. But if I was Bayley, you think I wouldn't say the fact that, okay, I've pinned Bianca before, you haven't pinned me. Well, that's a lie. Pre-Damage Control days, yes. But in this feud, no. So I feel like, well, we're going to get War Games. Even though I still don't think Damage Control is, that strong and not really that big of a threat as I thought, we're still doing the Women's War Games match. And Damage Control, with Nikki Cross probably, is going to be the heel team. I still think Bayley has a legitimate reason to want one more match. And if you want a match of, no more excuses, this and that, you gotta truly beat me, not by, holding me down. I feel like they're making up for they should make up for the match that they didn't get to do at Money in the Bank last year. This would be a reason to do the I Quit match. Because that way, even though I don't want to... Because I keep hearing that they want to do Bianca and Charlotte for WrestleMania. Okay, but the story's right here. Like, Bayley has the group that's supposed to be, the big threat right now. So Bayley should have the belt, I think. So again, if you want to tell this story where you technically have never pinned me, you've had to climb a ladder to beat me, and you've had to trap me in a corner to keep me down. she could have said, I could have gotten out of that. That's not, you didn't like incapacitate me that I couldn't get back up. You trapped me. I think they might be setting up for that I Quit match. Which I don't know if it'll happen on Raw. Or if it could happen at Rumble. I don't know. I don't know if we can get, I don't think, this is one thing I don't think we can get all the way to Rumble. But just something to think about. So, yes, I'm disappointed Bayley lost, but I feel like there's a story that she can tell here to kind of like protect herself. So I'm not completely like, 100%, 100% okay, never mind, it's all good. But I still think there is a way to continue this. Even though we really shouldn't at this point. Just my thoughts. I don't, but the match, like I said, I didn't expect this to be as crazy as it was. So I think this gets the rub as my match of the night. But of course, even though I'll say this too, if it's not Bayley, the person that needs to dethrone Bianca is definitely Rhea. My God, I'm even surprised they haven't done the title match yet, since they're supposed to do the Money in the Bank. Imagine what done there. Rhea probably would have lost. And she wouldn't be as dominant as she is now. So I don't know. I still think Bayley should be getting the title. I still wanted to see Damage Control be like the female Undisputed Era, but I don't know what's going to happen now. I don't know. Let's wait and see. But still, outstanding match. And I talked a lot about that one. Okay, then we get a breather. Because we have a promo, a good promo though, from Bray Wyatt. Who came out and he said a bunch of cryptic things as usual. Again, about finding yourself, this, and that. And saying how which first off, I also liked how they had, with him having this split personality gimmick. I like how they had, a blue light shining on one half of his face and a red light on the other half of his face. That was neat. I like that. But then, of course, he's basically, from what I got out of this promo, he was, kind of telling, he knows who he is. He knows who he is. But then we got Uncle Howdy interrupting him yet again. And he says his own few cryptic things as well. Just again, trying to put back down Bray Wyatt, saying that, you are not who he says he is. And again, what I like about this is, I feel like, and again, the reason why that I went with a turn where saying Bray Wyatt's a babyface is, I feel like the story you're telling here is you want to like Bray Wyatt. Before with The Fiend, it's that story of oh, you can trust me. No, you really can't. But I feel like now it's he's a lot more emotional and a lot more personal. It feels more like, yes, you can trust me, but somebody else is telling me you can't. And what I liked about this one also is it didn't just end with Uncle Howdy disappearing. You also saw Bray's reaction to Uncle Howdy. Now, I was a little disappointed. I thought that we would get introduced to another personality of Bray Wyatt. We didn't. But, it's still good. But I definitely agree. It might be time to start getting this into second gear. Or third gear, actually. Probably third gear, I would say. Because it's probably already in second gear with Uncle Howdy. But we got to get this, get the wheels turning a little bit faster with this. Because we are getting a lot of, repetitive, promos with this. But we will get there, I feel like. So that was good. And then, of course, the main event. Roman Reigns versus Logan Paul for the undisputed Universal Championship. Let me tell you guys something. And my friends saw it last night. We all know how much I dislike Logan Paul. He just appears as that cocky jackass that he's so good, but you still want to hate him because he's just that good. a popular YouTuber who just isn't seen to meant to be liked in the first place. In just his third match, went to town with the tribal chief. And again, it's like, he's that good, it makes me hate him more. It's just insane, like how incredible Logan Paul. He worked a lot with Shawn Michaels prepping for this match and whatnot too. But there's like every match he has, like he's just that good. And I'm like, how? Like, how has he in just 3 matches outdone a good like 70-75% of the roster? Which, okay, he wasn't watered down by Vince McMahon so much. Heck, I feel like Vince McMahon, if he was still around, wouldn't hold back the cuffs on Logan Paul. Because he's, in the category that Vince relies on. Outsiders who are drawing attention to your product. Even though, again, Logan Paul is not a babyface. But he's so freaking good. The guy can jump like how freaking high. All these like high cross bodies. His Superman punches were crowned out. Which, I'll say this though, to be honest, they need to stop having him basically, just like every person he wrestles, he steals some of their moves. So that bothers me a little bit. Like with The Miz, he had to hit the Skull Crusher finale. With Roman, he had to hit the Superman punches. But, anything else he can do, like the guy's believable. The guy is believable. And he was hanging with Roman Reigns. And of course, the best part of the match for sure was definitely, even though I hate to admit it, but Logan Paul had some buddies at ringside. He takes their cell phone. He climbs up to the top rope and goes viral, records himself from a cell phone doing a frog splash off the top rope through the announce table. Cocky but crazy. And then that's when the Usos came out and they brawled with his buddies. Then Jake Paul came out and knocked out the Usos. Then Solo Sikoa came out and he didn't actually fight Solo, but he basically said, hey, cut this out, basically. And Logan got back in, and after several, of course, Superman punches and a couple very close near falls, Roman was eventually able to hit a Superman punch on Logan, spear his ass, and put him right back in his place where he belongs. Not at the top, as Roman Reigns should still be on the top and not Logan Paul. But Roman retains, as we thought. Damn it, why does this guy that I can't stand have to be so freaking good? And here's the thing also too. I was rooting for Roman so hard last night. So hard, my friend was threatening to buy me a Logan Paul t-shirt for Christmas. And I said, if you do that, I'm sorry. Again, I can't stand the guy. I just can't stand this whole idea that Logan Paul gets a world title match against the best champion we've had in like quite some time. And this is his third match. And he does so freaking good. Like, I'll take this. My friend even mentioned the idea of, what if Logan Paul wrestled Seth Rollins for the US title at WrestleMania? After how he's done, I can buy into that. Well, other than the fact that he probably won't be a full-time wrestler, but if they want to do that, okay, I'll live with it. Even though Logan should be a heel, but, that's that. But the other thing too is, well, I know some people were saying they should do Logan Paul versus Jake, Logan and Jake versus the Usos. Fine, but of course don't give them the tag titles. Those need to be Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. But apparently Logan Paul did tear his ACL, MCL, and his meniscus. Just like Seth Rollins did. So he may be out for a while. So maybe not a WrestleMania match this year. Damn it though, why does he have to be so good? And I hate that he's this good. But yes, main event was predictable, but still excellent. Props to both men. Roman Reigns retains, and he's about to hit 800 days as champion. Man, that's amazing. Man, that is amazing, too, for your tribal chief. But yeah, guys, that's my thoughts on Crown Jewel 2022. I gave the show a B. Thought it was good. You know, a couple little things, you know, I think they're setting the table for something bigger to happen. Wasn't a waste of my time. I enjoyed this show. And we have one more pay-per-view left, for WWE at least, for 2022. And that's Survivor Series. Which, of course, tonight on Raw, in 6 minutes, we start the road to War Games. But, of course, before I go, I see a lot of stuff going on in the live chat. So let me check out the live chat really quick and see what we got here. I think we are all the way here with Dakota. I heard the main event was a match of the year contender. I would probably say it was too. Even though I still want to give the rub to the last woman standing match, I would not be opposed to considering that a match of the year contender. They put both SmackDown commentators on the show. I just began my Survivor Series reviews already with 1990, where The Undertaker debuted. Nice. What was the point of Alexa and Asuka winning the titles on Raw and dropping the same... Like I said, they shouldn't have dropped the titles. If they had them returned, it shouldn't just have set up the match for Saturday. And the story. The cage match with Drew and Cross was better than their Extreme Rules match. I agree. Dakota's hoping Randy returns soon. Thinking probably by Rumble he should be back. Wrestling News 365, what's up? Do you think Alien Dragon... Oh, I think he's meant to say Ilya Dragunov comes up to the main roster and wrestles Roman Reigns for the title. Ooh. I don't know. Because I know if they keep the belt on Roman until maybe next summer... Maybe, because I know Triple H is very high on Dragunov. I think he's in NXT now. Well, he has to, of course, because NXT UK is no longer a thing. If they gave Roman a little more time, I actually wouldn't be surprised if they did that. They had him dethrone Walter. They could have him dethrone Roman. That's actually not a bad idea. He could really surprise us with that. Wonder who Roman will face now that he has no challengers. I have so much respect for Logan Paul. Didn't like him, but tearing his MCL halfway through the match and finishing it, he's got heart. Yes, again, give him credit, but I just hate the fact I give him credit. He's just that good and much of a badass. But, honestly, because I've heard they've done some house shows recently, I still think the match they should do at Rumble is Roman and AJ. That's a match that we've got to see again. We haven't had that match since 2016, when Roman was not even on the level he is now, and AJ was just, starting to get his groove. So I think we should do AJ and Roman at Rumble, I think. Survivor Series, he'll probably be in War Games. Do you think it'd be a good time to bring back John Morrison? If he wants to come back, sure. I know I think Triple H wants to bring back Taya Valkyrie, which is someone I think he should go after to bring back. So, yes, he could come back. Did you hear the rumor that about WWE found somebody that destroyed Roman Reigns' title? I did not hear that. Guess Roman versus Braun next. I don't know. I don't know if that'd be a pay-per-view match again, but I wouldn't be opposed to it because Roman and Braun do have some good chemistry and good history together. Who do you think Johnny Gargano should have a match with at WrestleMania 39? I was thinking AJ Styles, Edge, or Finn Balor, or even Roman Reigns. Ooh, tough one. That's a tough one. Too bad the tag titles weren't split. I'd say have him and Johnny, and have him Ciampa reunite for a DIY reunion. I don't know. That's a really tough one. Yeah, I don't know. They wanted to do him and AJ. I'd probably say him and AJ, but who knows? That's still a long way away. I'm not sure. The other thing is Johnny will face Ciampa. At some point, that should be a WrestleMania match. Now that they're both on the main roster, yes. Bianca is seen in 2010, making Bayley's group look like shit. Oh, jeez. I did hear that Stone Cold Steve Austin wants to wrestle again, apparently. We'll see who he does. Imagine Austin versus Rock at Mania 40. Maybe? I don't know. I mean, it definitely would not hit the high note that it did years ago, but you never know. 7:59. A couple more, then I gotta get going. Do you think with Triple H in charge, now that Jeff Hardy will still go into the Hall of Fame as a singles wrestler, as a tag team wrestler, and a tag team wrestler since he's considered a top 20 greatest of all time, I think Jeff Hardy will go to the Hall of Fame at some point, yes. I still think Cody takes a title from Roman. He has to. He still could. Or Rollins. Again, Seth would make sense because of, the history. So I'm not opposed to either one of those, but that idea about Dragunov, though, actually is not a bad idea. That or Sammy, I'd love to see. It would be awesome to see if Sammy possibly was one, or even Johnny too. That actually would not be bad ideas at all. But okay, Bray. Honestly, if I had to pick a number one for me, it would be Bray. Because of, his history with Roman. And personally also with how much he has gotten the brakes halted on him because of Roman. I think my number one choice right now would be Bray. But any of those other options are also good too. But it's 8 o'clock now, guys. I want to go watch Raw. I got my points across. Thank you guys for joining me for this efficient and lively review of Crown Jewel. Hope you guys enjoy Raw. I gave the show a B, and my match of the night still was that last woman standing match. What are your guys' thoughts on Crown Jewel? What grade would you give it? And what was your match of the night for Crown Jewel? Excuse me. Make sure you guys thoughts down in the comment section below. Be sure as always to slap a like on the video and subscribe, more contact on my channel, and follow me on Twitter as well at DemandAirboy93. And until then, guys, I'm checked out. I'll catch y'all later. Enjoy Raw tonight. Peace out, everybody.